Welcome to World News by Halandzovskyi. If you value calm, clear, and fact-based analysis of global issues, please subscribe, leave a comment, and share your view. Today's report touches on a surprising diplomatic flare-up between Russia and Poland, one rooted in history, justice, and rising geopolitical tensions in Europe. In recent days, a Polish archaeologist was sentenced by a Polish court on charges that have drawn strong criticism from Moscow. The details of the case involve allegations of professional misconduct and dispute over cultural artifacts, a situation that, in isolation, might have remained a domestic legal matter. However, Russia's response transformed it into an international incident. Russian officials publicly warned that Poland should expect consequences for the sentencing, suggesting that the decision could influence bilateral relations and complicate cooperation on broader regional issues. The tone of the statements was unusually sharp, particularly given the context of already strained relations between Russia and NATO member states. Warsaw, for its part, maintained that the judicial process was independent and rooted in established legal procedures. Polish authorities underscored that the sentence was a matter of domestic law, not politics, and that foreign governments should respect judicial sovereignty. Nevertheless, Russia's reaction signals a willingness to elevate relatively contained legal matters into issues of diplomatic pressure. This episode occurs against a backdrop of heightened mistrust. Since the full-scale invasion of Ukraine, Poland has been among the most vocal critics of Russian aggression and one of the strongest supporters of Kyiv, both politically and materially. Warsaw's firm stance on security, sanctions, and defense cooperation has drawn Moscow's ire repeatedly. The Archaeologist case, distant from military or strategic concerns, now becomes another arena where tensions spill over from larger geopolitical conflicts. The rhetoric from Moscow was couched in language that many analysts interpreted as a warning rather than a diplomatic protest. By framing the sentencing as something that could have repercussions, Russian officials appeared to signal that they are prepared to treat cultural or judicial disputes as leverage points in broader power dynamics. The significance of this incident goes beyond one court case. It highlights how, in the current geopolitical climate, even seemingly local decisions can trigger disproportionate reactions when relations between states are tense. For Poland, a frontline NATO member bordering Ukraine, the warning from Moscow is more than symbolic. It underscores the fragility of peace in Eastern Europe. Poland's role in European security has expanded in recent years. Warsaw has increased defense spending, hosted multinational military units, and advocated for a robust response to Russian aggression. These actions have made Poland a key pillar of deterrence in the region, especially within the context of NATO's eastern flank. As a result, any diplomatic friction with Russia carries potential strategic implications. Moscow's warning also taps into a deeper narrative about cultural significance. Archaeology, heritage, and national history are sensitive areas in many countries. For nations like Poland, whose history includes periods of occupation and cultural suppression, decisions about historical artifacts and heritage preservation resonate on a symbolic level. Russia's choice to politicize this particular case may reflect broader efforts to exploit cultural fault lines for strategic leverage. What's more, this incident may influence how European governments perceive and respond to Russian bluff, pressure, or brinkmanship. If judicial decisions, even those involving individual professionals, can elicit threats of consequences, the threshold for diplomatic conflict can shrink, making crises more frequent and less predictable. For Ukraine and its allies, watching these dynamics unfold is crucial. The war in Ukraine has already redefined European security structures and rekindled concerns about territorial integrity and national sovereignty. Russia's posture toward Poland in this context signals that even non-military disputes can be weaponized in broader strategic messaging. Finally, the episode points to a fundamental question for Europe: how to maintain legal independence, national sovereignty, and cultural autonomy, while managing relations with an increasingly assertive neighbor. Poland's stance reinforces the principle that democratic nations will not easily acquiesce to foreign pressure on internal matters. But the risk remains that such disputes, left unaddressed at a diplomatic level, could become catalysts for larger tensions. Thank you for watching this report on World News by Halandzovskyi. If you found this analysis valuable, please subscribe, leave a comment, and share your thoughts. Independent reporting and informed discussion help us all make sense of a complex world. Stay informed and see you in the next update.